Hey guys, so this is part 2 of my Q&A, and this is going to be the final part. So if you haven't seen part 1, you definitely want to go check that out, and I'll link it down below. And let's just jump right into the questions. So just like part 1, I'm not going to be reading the names, and I am shortening the comments just to save time. And yeah, so I'm sorry I can't shout you out this video, but I'm sure that there will be another video where I am shouting people out. So the first question is, if my fairy dust freezes outside when it's evaporating, can I go outside and let it evaporate again and unfreeze? I honestly don't know because I live in Florida and it does not snow here and nothing really freezes outside, so I don't know how to answer that question. You can definitely try it and let me know what happens. And the second question is, will you become a vegetarian when you become a fairy because you love animals? And the answer to that one is it's really just preference. If you feel, when you become a fairy, if your love for animals is so strong that you don't want to eat them anymore, then that's up to you. I personally didn't because I really do love red meat, and it's just not something I was willing to give up, even for being a fairy, but it's definitely something that you can choose. Next, does iron and metal burn fairies? Well, if it's hot, then yes, I mean, that could burn anybody, but alone, I don't think so. Can you wear a backpack while flying? Yes, as long as it's not too heavy, and as long as, you can get it over your wings or through your wings. Can fairies communicate telepathically? I assume if you have the red aura that it could be possible to communicate telepathically with someone who also has the red aura, but I'm not quite sure. How do you hide wings with the bathing suit on? There's really no possible way to do this, so I suggest if you're a swimmer that you look into doing an Irish type of fairy spell, which can give you invisible wings and no one will be able to see them. Next is, how do you dry wet wings? And you can just use a towel. It won't go through them. The only thing that goes through your wings are things that you want to go through your wings. So if you want your clothes to go through your wings, then your clothes will go through. If you don't want your towel to, then it won't. How long can you be a fairy? That all depends on how long you want to. It does not wear off ever unless you do the reverse spell. Why don't you see many fairies in everyday places? Well, the reason for this is because many fairies choose to hide that they are fairies in the public, just because it's easier than explaining to someone who can see your wings, and also it's kind of dangerous to reveal yourself to people that you don't trust, just in case there are groups out there that try to take down fairies, and even just it's something that might be special to them and they don't want people to know about it, and it's just their little secret. What causes the fairy transformation? Is it just pure belief, or is there an external force? A little bit of both. I mean, it's mainly the idea of believing that really brings the fairy spell to come along. It's also a bit of magic, and mostly it's just believing. And there is an external force of magic, I guess, because there is someone somewhere controlling who, the fairy people. I'm not really sure about it. I really don't know anything about that, but so I'm not going to say anything further than that. Just know that there is an external force. How do you control headaches when using technology? I had spoken to a few people and had told them that if the headaches were really bothering them, which a couple people it was really bothering them when they used technology as a fairy, that with a little bit of practice and a lot of focusing, you can control how bad your headaches are. So if you really are into technology, you use a lot of technology, there is a way to kind of become immune to it and not get headaches from it. You just have to really train yourself. And that's with most things anyways. You train yourself to do a lot of things. So it's not very difficult at all. It's just easier to not use technology at all. But yeah. If you don't draw your wings, what will they look like? So I mentioned before that you can draw your wings and put them in your spell. and they'll look like that. Now, if you don't draw them, you'll just get a very generic looking wing, but it's still gorgeous, and many, many, many fairies have that shape and color, not color, shape and style of wing, so it's all great. If you feel sick, do you feel sick near light bulbs and LED lights as a fairy? Not that I've experienced. It's kind of resembling sunlight, so it's actually great to be near heat and sun. It's very healthy for fairy skin. How many ways are there to turn into a fairy? There's so many different spells and transformations, but I'd say there's 4 popular ones, and that's Irish, Greek, Roman, and Latin. Now there is German spells, and I think there's even one from England, but I'm not quite sure about any of those. Just the Roman spell I'm good with. Megan's is the Greek spell, and Jade's is the Latin spell, and there is an Irish spell that I did study once upon a time, but not anymore. And now, on to the next few questions. How do you make plants grow with the green aura? So basically, fairy dust and water and a little bit of fairy magic and belief, and you're good to go. You just water them with your fairy dust water, and after a few days you should see growth, if not immediately. Can you swim as a fairy? You can swim, but you shouldn't swim for too long of a time because it can dry out your wings, especially in chlorine. It's very bad for your wings, but if it is salt water like the ocean, then it's very good for your wings. What day will you get bumps on your back? Bumps on your back. Well, that's hard to say because it's different for everybody. You may not even get the bumps. You may just start off with wing growth, so it's hard to say. Will you do this spell again? Most likely no, because I'm getting really busy lately. I'm doing a lot of different things, and I just don't have time for it right now. And the last question is, do you still get your period if you are a girl and you have that? Yes, you will. Unfortunately, it doesn't stop that, and it actually can be a good thing as a fairy because it lets you know that you're still healthy, because fairies, that's a sign of health for fairies if you have that. Like when a girl as a fairy gets it, it's it shows that they're healthy and they're ready to basically meet all the fairy expectations. So I don't want to get too much into that, and I'm going to end the video here. I hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you guys in my next video.